Very rarely on this channel do I talk about loss prevention. So in today's video, I want to talk about loss prevention and what does law enforcement expect of loss prevention officers. If you're a loss prevention officer, maybe you're a loss prevention supervisor, this video is a good video to forward to your staff. So I want to share the story with you. The other day, I was at one of the large retail stores and I had an encounter with loss prevention. They made an arrest. They made a private person's arrest. And I asked this officer, this loss prevention officer, when will the report be finished? And he gave me the date. He basically says, come in tomorrow and you could pick up the report. I'll have everything done. I'll have the video on a disc and everything will be good to go. So I showed up the following day and I found him. And guess what? He was still adding some details on the report. He hadn't even collected the video yet. He was still burning the video on a disc. Well, actually, he started burning the video on the disc at that point in time. So I end up waiting an extra, for him, maybe 20, 30 minutes, guys. 20 to 30 minutes to get his report. We do have to understand that this is a new loss prevention officer. He just barely started a couple of months ago, and he doesn't really have anybody that mentors him. They basically trained him, and he's good to go to be on his own now. No mentorship. I miss the older loss prevention officers because those guys had everything squared away. I'm telling you, guys, your relations with law enforcement are imperative. When you say something, you have to follow up with it. I mean, your words should be your signature. A law enforcement officer shouldn't have to wait 25 to 30 minutes for you to start getting all your stuff finished. Everything should be done. And what it appeared that he was doing is he was patrolling the floor trying to get another arrest. If you are on loss prevention and you're a loss prevention manager, please have your staff finish up their reports for law enforcement. Have them finish up and make that report available. Don't go out there and be proactive until you finish your paperwork. Okay? It's doing a disservice to you. So now, this particular loss prevention officer is held. I mean, I hold his standards went from here, or my perception of him went from here to now here. And it's sad, guys. I mean, just something little can give law enforcement, a little issue can give law enforcement a negative perception on you. And as a loss prevention officer, you want to have that good working relationship with law enforcement. And why is that? Well, you want it so that when you call the police, they'll show up right away. And guys, I have given my phone number, my personal phone number, to loss prevention officers at this particular retail store. There was about 2 or 3 of them whom I trusted, and I give my personal phone number. And when they had a shoplifter, and that shoplifter was about to leave, they would call me. Sometimes they would call me on my days off. Obviously, I'd tell them, hey, call the police. But there's that constant communication, and there's that mutual respect. Usually, law enforcement officers won't give you their personal cell phone number. But I did it so that I can get the job done more efficiently, and I trusted these guys. And that's the trust that you want with law enforcement. You want to have that good working relationship, and your word is your signature. If you say that there's a report that's going to be done tomorrow, by this time, it should be done. What ends up happening is you end up stalling the law enforcement officer. That law enforcement officer cannot turn in the report on time. Their own report. So that law enforcement officer looks bad in front of their supervisors because, they can't turn in the report. Also, when I was going through the report, his narrative was about 3 to 4 sentences long. Guy came inside of this store, walked past the registers without paying. I mean, it was so short that a lot of the better details was left out. What time did he enter the store? Where did he try to conceal the merchandise? I mean, a lot more details need to be included in the report. What happened when you attempted to stop him? Did you tell him he was under a private person's arrest? Where did he go to? And did you ever lose observation of the subject? So you follow him outside the store all the way outside the store's parking lot. Did you ever lose observation on that person? What was the description? Was the suspect wearing the same clothing when the police stopped him? And he would know that because he was summoned to where the police were at. But all the details are missing. I really like this loss prevention officer. I think that he's going to have a very successful career in either law enforcement or loss prevention. He's very eager. He told me what his goals are. He liked the fact that he's gaining a lot of experience. So I really enjoyed talking to him. Anyhow, hey, this loss prevention officer, he is very motivated. He's going to be somebody someday, and he's going to be doing a lot better job. It's just mentorship. He just needs the right mentor. And I think his supervisors or his managers is basically the general manager of the store, who might not necessarily have any type of law enforcement, loss prevention, or security experience. So I'm going to try to guide him as best as I can with more calls for service, and hopefully we'll get him to where he needs to be. Otherwise, that's all I really have, guys. If you have any suggestions, comments for those who are new to loss prevention, in regards to interacting with law enforcement, interacting with the police, I'd like to hear in the comment section below.